thoughts sitting in there that it must be an absolute wonderful environment to come into because of the people that are in there. They are, we've talked about it so many times of how accepting they are, welcoming they are, and it starts with our captain, our 2 assistant captains. There's no animosity for a guy coming in and playing in different situations. They want that. They encourage that. And yeah, our leadership in that room has allowed us to have that depth and have those depth guys contribute because they feel comfortable, not only on the ice, but they feel comfortable off the ice in the locker room and away from the game.
Hockey, yeah.
My favorite. It's Judd's Hockey Show.
Oh, that might have been the best one yet, Declan. Oh my God. Dean Evison. He can't let it go. And he's right. The team's really good, but oh my God, he just keeps going after Parisi and Suter. And that was a testimonial to how horse bleep those guys were. He's literally every time he can, he talks about how people are supposed to be accepting. Oh my, are they going to retire Koivu's 9 in March? And the whole thing is going to be a spiel about this guy was with us for a long time. One of the most unaccepting human beings in life. You couldn't walk into that locker room and feel welcome. But I'm going to tell you right now, you do. Oh my God, it's great. I'm sorry. It just makes me laugh. All right. Welcome into Judd's Hockey Show. Zolgad and Declan Goff, as always. And the Wild and the rest of the National Hockey League now has entered the All-Star break because we certainly need a break. 5-0 over the Chicago Blackhawks last night, nationally televised game. Talk from certainly the TNT studio crew, whom I love. Yes. About the fact that the Wild definitely looks like a contender now. And I'm not talking a contender to make the playoffs. We're talking a contender to make a playoff run. I believe Rick Tocchet lumped the Blues and Wild as playoff type built teams, which is impressive. This is now gotten to a point, Dex, where it is really impressive. Like it is. I get it. The Blackhawks stink, and that's fine. The Avs are tough, and the Avs scare me. That's fine too. But this is as confident as I have felt about a team because of how it's built, because of the welcoming nature of the veterans, and because of the play that they get. When you watch this team now, like last night, they, for the most part, just dominated. Like they played a bad team, and it's like foot on the gas, on your throat, game done, bye. Yeah. I say this with trepidation because it is a Minnesota sports team, but the more I watch this team and the collection and how they're built and how they play, and when guys are out, Foligno hasn't played in 2 games now. It is just a really impressive display, and the different guys who stand up and play well at different times, there is a lot to like here.
Yeah, it's depth showing up. It's firing on all cylinders. It's getting your players like Kevin Fiala absolutely on a roll here. It's Matthew Boldy contributing. Cam Talbot with another very important and good start for his team in the Wild. Is that the first shutout for the Wild finally this season? I can't remember if they've actually shut someone out yet. But
it might be, yeah.
But they are one of the best teams in the NHL. Just let's call it what it is. They're one of the best teams in the league. And yeah, it kind of stinks that there's another little bit of a pause here. But in about a week's time here, Judd, we're going to be talking about, and to be honest, the Judd's Hockey Show episode and universe is about to explode here with even more episodes because we'll actually have games that aren't with 3 or 4 days off in between. They look like a team, and it's damn good. And it's not a coincidence that Dean Evison continues to bring up and take those subtle shots. And I think some might look at that as, well, like, no, he's just talking about how great this team is. And it is. And this team is great. Yes, yeah. That is partially true, but it's also, he was in the room for a completely different era of Wild hockey too. So he's seen both sides of that coin. And look, Dean's a hockey guy. Like, Dean's just, like, as cliche as that sounds, like, Dean's a hockey guy through and through. He knows BS when he sees it. And he believes that this team is actually has not just the product on the ice, but off the ice, him and Guerin working hand in hand to create that culture. That's why he says those things.
And this is what a team looks like. And
Mhm.
that is on the ice, the court, and field, or off of it. And I think part of the positive that we're seeing for sure with this club, and also to a certain point, the Wolves, is we are seeing a far more galvanized product. Like they've always had some good players, but do those players complement each other both in a locker room and when they're playing? And I think that the answer for the Wild is 1000% yes. And I think the Wolves are trending in the right direction. It's what clearly the Vikings are trying to find now. The Wild, by the way, and this is the impressive thing. So this is where things are quantifiably, Dex, truly different. Okay. The Wild, since they lost in the Winter Classic, which dropped them to 5 consecutive losses. And I will say this had me interested. Like my curiosity was piqued. Okay, what's going to transpire from here? 9-0-1. So 10-game point streak. And I think one of the most important things to bring up during that stretch is this one. Fiala's play.
Yeah.
The Boldy Fiala line. And I heard somebody else, who did I hear? I think it was on the Sirius Hockey Channel talking about this, and it's right. Somebody else was basically talking about the lines, and they said the same thing that we say, which is there's no question Hartman, Zuccarello, Kaprizov, first line for sure. But the reality is the Boldy right now, Gaudreau and Fiala line is the second line. The Eck line is incredibly important and a shutdown line and can score points. They are incredible. So I am not trying to denigrate them one bit, but they are a third line. And if you were forced to make them the second line, it's not as good. Right now, what I love is the Wild has 4 lines that go 12 players deep. They're good, but more importantly, everything slots in correctly. Now, I did hear Tocchet, who I'm sure talks to our friend Bill Guerin. Rick Tocchet did say Billy is still sniffing around for a center as I think it's March 21st trade deadline approaches. But that being said, even without a trade, I really like how that top 9 breaks down. And I really like the fact that Eck centers a line that is instrumental, incredibly important, but with Fiala and Boldy being as good as they are, allows you to make them the third line.
Yeah, they really have 3 lines that can roll. And look, Fiala got off to just that horse-bitten start through the first, let's call it probably 20 games of the season, where he was still shooting a ton, finding posts, just not finding the back of the net. And over the last 12 games, basically, since Matthew Boldy has arrived, 9 goals, 7 assists, 16 points. He has 16 points in his last 12 games. And if you just look at, what he's done this season, his goal rate, his assist rate, his points rate, it's basically right on par with what he's done in his Wild tenure. So if you were an NHL fan who knows Kevin Fiala and you just happen to stumble onto his hockey reference page or his box score page, you say, oh, Kevin Fiala, he's having a Kevin Fiala year, right? Like he's almost been a point per game player. He shoots a ton. He's been exactly kind of the guy he's been the last 3 years for the Wild. But you have to kind of look at the context too of those first 20 games were frustrating and he was pissed. And I think fans were starting to get upset with him too. And now that Matthew Boldy has come out, it's kind of been that spark plug for him. And to Boldy's credit and Fiala's credit, don't dispute what Fiala has also meant to Matthew Boldy. Yes, Boldy has definitely helped get Fiala's game a little bit awoken here, but it goes both ways. Fiala has helped Matthew Boldy become a playmaker.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, and Boldy could do what he's doing with a lesser
choked
player.
Up just thinking about it.
Well, and it should because he's your guy. Kevin Fiala is your guy. Boldy could do what he's doing without Fiala as far as creating plays, but Fiala's ability to finish, and this also backs us up on a discussion that I think we had going back to last year, which is this: you've got to get Kevin with the right guy, at least one, if not 2. You cannot expect him to create, to just be okay. He needs to be fed the puck in the proper positions. And if you create for him, he's going to be really good. But I think we were justified in our complaints to a certain degree. And we talked about this quite a bit about his line mates. And it's like, you're forcing this guy with Fiala, Victor Rask is going to be, he can't keep up. He can't keep up. He can make plays, but he can't keep up. And I think Boldy is a shining example of the fact that if you put Kevin with the right guy, the right talent, he's outstanding.
Yeah.
I also think, and again, I think I heard the TNT studio crew talk about this last night. I also think that Boldy and Kaprizov, or I'm sorry, Fiala and Kaprizov are benefiting from the exact same thing that we discussed with Guerin. I think it was in training camp on Judd's Hockey Show. And that is this: the center position now, incredibly important, but wings can create now too. So like lines have become far more positionless in some ways. And Boldy and Zuccarello in their own way are de facto centers. Yeah. And I think that is a shining, because Boldy is Fiala's best hope to set up plays, right? Zuccarello is Kaprizov's best hope. And I think we are now seeing that on a nightly basis, that the amount of positionless forwards to a certain point plays a key role in the success of both of those lines.
You see, I talk about this with you all the time, that the game shifts. The game goes through phases. The game goes through different heights, where you have guys that are big, you have guys that are small, you have guys who are now playmakers. You have guys who can play both center and wing, and you don't just have to be a center to be a playmaker. I mean, look, Ryan Hartman has now blossomed. It's not a fluke that Ryan Hartman is scoring all these goals, but he's also in the middle of two incredible playmakers. So there still is a fact. Ryan Hartman's success still factors on the fact that he plays with Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Zuccarello every night.
Yes.
So if you put, because this actually would make sense, if you put Ryan Hartman with Marcus Foligno and Jordan Greenway, that line would still work their asses off and still be a shutdown line. But would Ryan Hartman be getting the goals he'd be getting right now? Absolutely not. He just wouldn't be. That's not to discredit that Hartman wouldn't be a key contributor, because actually, again, it would make a lot of sense to put Hartman on that checking line. That's what his career has mostly been up until the last about 60, 70 games or so.
Yep.
But he's a benefactor of playing with Kirill Kaprizov, who's literally looking like one of the top 10 players in the world right now, and Matt Zuccarello, who looks like the player he was with New York, being an incredible playmaker, and he's having a career year. So it's everyone kind of benefiting. Now, I will say, when you're going to get into this, because the Wild are clearly going to make the playoffs, if you're going to seriously make a significant run and go toe-to-toe and go with haymaker shots against Colorado, you need a little bit more size and skill up front. You just will.
Yep, I agree.
But
I agree.
Because you saw in the Vegas series that Kirill got shut down. And then Vegas said, if we shut down Kirill, can the Wild beat us? And the answer was no. They went 7 games, but the answer was no.
And now?
Now, I think if you shut down Kirill, if you focus, not because I don't think you can really shut him down, but if you focus on shutting down Kirill, can the Wild beat you? Yes, the Wild can still beat you. That has shifted from about 10 months ago.
And that is the key thing. It is, if the second line was in a playoffs, okay, the Ek line, we need you to score. Can't do that. They can score, but you can't say that. If they're going to check Kirill, Hartman, Zuccarello, here's what you can say: Matthew and Kevin, we're going to need you to score. They can do that. Mm-hmm. And I also love the fact that these lines are put together and left together, and that the chemistry is good. It's why it's always driven me crazy when you're just juggling lines. And some coaches love to do that. Just juggle. Drives me nuts. Why? Because on a good team, you find people that work. We found this, Dex. Ryan Hartman between Foligno and Greenway couldn't hold a candle to Eriksson Ek.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know exactly. It doesn't matter. Eriksson Ek between those two is special. So, all right, Judd's Hockey Show. We'll probably be back. Let's try and do one over the weekend to sort of preview.
Sure.
Because the Wild's going to be back in action at Winnipeg on Tuesday. And then, as Dex said, once I come back for the break, every other day, essentially, for about 3 weeks. So there will be plenty of JHS at that time. Just quickly, though, if you're saying, Judd Zolgad, how did you lose all that weight? Your face is thinner. You should see the old pictures. Declan, quit showing those. 30 plus pounds down, thanks to my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers. And I want you to join me now on the 8-week challenge. Get your first 8 weeks for free. That's right. First 8 weeks for free. 855-GO-LIVEA or Livia, LIVEA.com. Join today. First 8 weeks for free, inside or outside of the state. They will help you either way. And then last thing is, Dex, talk to me about the comfort that you have found through the magic of Chill Boys.
Here, I'll actually show you. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna show you. I can't show you. We can get flagged on this. The last thing this YouTube channel needs is a flag for content. But Chill Boys, my performance brand Chill Boys, they're just like it's just like the center wing we were just talking about. Okay, they can do it all. They are the Kevin Fiala and Matthew Boldy. The performance brand and the bamboo fabric complement one another. It doesn't matter which one you have because they ended up still scoring. Because that's what Chill Boys does. It provides you comfort for scoring, just for the wild and for anything else in life. So Chill Boys, it's a Minnesota brand. Check them out, chillboys.com. For Bill Guerin, for Judd Zolgad, I'm Declan Goff, Passion Square.
Listen, you guys know what this is all about, right? Right? What's it all about? Spurgey?
Hard work and having fun.
That. This is about winning.